everyone, I'm Neha Kakkar from Aussies Group Perth. Today we are back again with our series Choose Your Own Way. So today we are covering the story of an international student just like you who have studied in Australia and have landed a job with the Bankwest and have proven to be a successful career in her own studies. Without wasting time, just let's get into Bankwest. Hi guys, we are here in Bankwest and I would like to take the opportunity to introduce you to Senior Manager for Credit Risk Modeling for the Bankwest, and here we go, Sheryl. How are you today?
I'm good, Neha. How are you?
Good, thanks. I would like to thank you for taking time off from your busy schedule to have us here and inspiring young adults and students who are still finding their path to get in right course and right job. So thank you again for having us here.
No problem.
So firstly, what made you come here and when was the first time you landed in Australia?
So it's a bit of a history. I first came to Perth in 1998. So that was like about 10 years old. I guess that was my first visit and it was a holiday with my family.
You might have not even decided then you'll be coming, yeah?
No, I wasn't deciding at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I came here to visit my family, and then subsequently I've been coming back and forth back to Australia maybe about 10 times before I decided to come to Perth to move here.
Yeah.
So I migrated to Australia in 2011 for my study.
Okay, finally you moved with your student visa, probably to start your study. And what made you choose Australia only over the other countries?
So there were a few things that was motivating my decision to move to Australia. Firstly, I was looking for a place to further my study. So I was choosing between the UK and Australia. So it was a tough decision. The UK was very interesting. There's a lot of things that you can do there, but Australia, on the other hand, is a lot closer to home.
Okay.
So like I mentioned before, so I came here a long time ago and I was here to visit my family. So having family here really helps, and not being far away from home. So 5 hours away from Malaysia, which is where my family are. The second thing is I was actually very motivated by the job prospect in Australia. So where I see myself that I could finish my study and then land a job that actually make pretty good money.
What level of education have you completed in Australia?
So I did my master's degree when I came to Australia in 2011. Okay. I finished my bachelor in Malaysia, Bachelor of Financial Engineering, and then I decided that I probably should further my study in master's. So that's what I decided to do.
And your master's was in which particular major?
My master's was financial mathematics, so it's more around applied mathematics.
Okay, so you did your bachelor's in mathematics and proceeded to master's in the same field, yeah?
That's right.
And how about your progression of journey in Australia? How did it went?
So it was quite a journey. So while I was pursuing my master's, I managed to get a part-time job in a tutoring centre. So obviously that helps with day-to-day, having some money for maybe a bit of a nicer stuff.
Yeah.
The owner of the tutoring centre was also very supportive of me. So while I was looking for a full-time job after I completed my study, they gave me a few more days in the week of work, which actually helped with the cost of living in Perth.
Yeah.
And then, obviously after time, I was lucky enough to land a job somewhere in a software company after 7 months of looking for a full-time job. That was
7 months.
Was actually very relevant to my study. So as you can see, having people being kind to you, helping you with the cost of living, giving you more jobs. So that all sort of come together.
And how did when you completed your study, so it took you 7 months to get into the first job of your IT, and that was full time, right?
Yeah.
Did you did any sort of internship meanwhile, or?
No, so the whole time I was just working part-time in the same tutoring centre, and obviously over there I kind of learned a few of the soft skills, like how you talk to people, people management, stakeholder management, things that you learn on the job.
And how about the current job which you are handling is of credit risk modeling, right?
Yeah.
But how did it line up when you were starting with your first job?
So like I said, it's been a bit of a journey. So for months after I finished my study, I was just applying for jobs through Seek, your LinkedIn, your company career page. So obviously, it is quite tough when you're in that situation for months. So, you know, you kind of maybe wanted to give up, but you got to keep trying. So it was a challenge, but you always have to remember that you only need one company to say yes.
That's what student needs to know. You need to keep going. It's just the one yes you want.
Yes.
You have to keep up that spirit.
Yes, definitely. So, you know, you could apply for 100 jobs, but really you just need one yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was it. I got a yes from an IT company to implement treasury system across financial institution in Asia and Australia.
Did you utilize any of the tools like LinkedIn or referrals or Seek? Which thing you will recommend the most, or you say helped you in your way?
So I think you know, just like everyone else say that, you know, your network's actually very important.
Yeah.
So for me, I was applying through all sorts of different channels, your LinkedIn, your Seek, your anything else that you can find on a career page. Yeah. But most importantly, you need to be able to network with people. So I actually got my job in Bankwest through a referral from a friend's friend. Okay. So it's actually quite interesting because, you know, obviously Perth is not a big place, but so you kind of have to try to get to know people. You never know what kind of opportunity will show up.
How did you upskill in order to get employment, or was the study which you did from UWA was enough to get into a job of your own profile, basically?
Yeah, so the qualification that I did was actually sufficient because it was quite technical, like I mentioned before. So I did Masters of Financial Mathematics. That allows me to apply for a graduate visa. So that lets me work in Australia for 18 months. Okay. And subsequently, as soon as I managed to gain 1 year of working experience in my relevant field, I was able to apply for my permanent residency. And that helps with more employment opportunities with bigger companies such as Bankwest.
We'll move on to know more about your experience, how you've been like working in this role for such a long time. So how it went from the starting and your learning graph from there till now.
It is quite an interesting one. So I started working in Bankwest since 2015. So that was about 5 years ago. But I actually started my banking career in 2010 before I moved to Australia. So I was working in a retail bank in Malaysia for a year. So I did internship there and then I moved on to doing a graduate role there. So it has been very interesting for me because obviously I was comparing banking sector in basically different countries.
Yes.
I love my role because it actually provided me with a lot of opportunities to sort of you know, upskill myself as well as provide great value to the bank. So it kind of helps that it also relates back to what I study.
So is it like your previous experience in Malaysia helped you here in any way?
It does help. So knowing how a bank operates, that actually helps. Also helps with my interview. So knowing that, you know, every bank operates differently but also similarly because they talk about credit risk. So I was working in risk management there. So at least you have the exposure to know what you're getting into.
And how about like, is the education which you did in UWA, is it still relevant to the work you do today as well?
Yeah, so it is actually. So my education is basically made for my job now. My current role is actually very, very heavily weighted on statistics and math, and also a lot of business knowledge. So definitely relevant. Yeah, I would say I have to go back and make sure that I know what's my basic.
Have you like obtained any of the certifications or qualifications while you started working in banking sector?
No, I haven't. So I haven't been the most hardworking person, to be honest, in terms of obtaining qualification. I was considering probably taking up a short course on data science because that's the new thing that everyone's talking about. But lucky for me, I'm actually leading a team of like 4 people and 3 of them are data scientists.
So you're the boss who runs the team of the data science.
So I have 3 data scientists working in my team. So which means I don't really have to go out and study, right? So I think it'll be more beneficial for me to learn within my team and upskill myself.
And again, concluding and getting students to know how your studies have already landed up you in a good position in Bankwest and working here from 2015. So would you recommend young adults basically to get into this field and do international studies?
So yes, definitely. So I recommend young adults to get into study that can provide you with more technical and specialized skills, such as your accounting, your IT, your stats. So they call it the STEM subject, so your science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Yeah.
I think that definitely help you land a job because a lot of companies sort of want people that has technical skill. And so as soon as you start working, you can start learning all the other soft skills. So that will help you land a job.
What advice do you give to such people who are still struggling or still in a process to come overseas and start their career or start their studies?
So I think you always have to have a vision
Yeah.
of what you want to achieve and how you can achieve it.
Yeah.
So by having a vision, you kind of know what's your next step.
Yeah.
So obviously, taking the first step, which is going to apply for uni and getting into uni offer letters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But as you're in uni, learn as much as you can, and also don't forget to adapt to the culture in a different country and have some fun.
Yeah.
And also, as you can hear my story, it seems really smooth sailing and easy.
Yeah.
It's actually not.
Yes.
So it takes a lot of effort and determination and planning. So plan ahead. Make sure you plan ahead for your visa, especially because it is a very tedious and difficult process.
Yeah.
If you don't plan ahead, you might not be able to live in this country. So that's definitely number one. Lastly, just don't give up. Things will
Yes.
work out somehow.
You have such a successful story, but you always have your hard days when you were working towards your goals and everything, whatever you want to achieve. So do you think after being such a long time, have you really achieved what you have set on the first day?
I would say yes. So career-wise, I am at a good place.
Yeah.
Leading a team of technical analysts with a lot of opportunity to explore new technology and new techniques. That's definitely key.
Yeah.
Working in Bankwest. Bankwest is definitely a good place to work here.
Yes.
So I've met a lot of supportive managers and mentors that actually helped me to get to where I am today. Again, the bank also focus a lot on personal development, gender equality.
Yeah.
Being female in the industry is a bit tricky, but the bank helps you.
Yeah.
And we also have flexible working. So yes, I'm very happy with where I am today. And again, if you ask me if this is enough, no. There's always room for improvement.
Yeah. So it gives us the idea like how an international student who is coming from different nationalities and here in Australia can study and find their right path and get into the right industry, where they have studied with their valid visas like student visa, then going on to 485 and leading to PR pathways. But the only key is don't give up.
Definitely, a lot of determination and planning, and
Yeah.
don't give up. That's right.
Get into the right advice and right consultancy firms which can help you guide to the right path as well. Thank you for having us and taking the time for us to give your ideas and inspiration to the young adults who are still struggling and couldn't really have the successful stories to motivate them to get in again the struggle, or maybe the just to get in their path to get a right job and right course. So again, thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.